Alrighty everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be looking at a PvE build for the Strand Titan. This idea is taken from one of my own builds, so here it is. But if you want your build ideas to be featured in a future video, then be sure to leave them in the comments down below and they might get featured. Now, starting out with the abilities. Our super, Bladed Fury, light attack severs, heavy attack suspends. Sever reduces opponents' outgoing damage, and Suspend keeps them tied up in the air. Next you have your choice of Barricade, Jump, and our melee Frenzied Blade. Attack to lunge forward, and hits will sever targets. You get 3 melee charges, which is very helpful for the melee build we're trying to do here. Next, Shackle Grenade, thrown out to suspend targets mid-air for you to defeat. Suspend can also stun unstoppable champions, so it can be very useful in a pinch. Now for our fragments, starting out with Thread of Finality. Finish your final blows, create threadlings. Now threadlings are tiny little mites that go out and seek targets and deal damage. Very useful when comboed with our exotic, which revolves around finishers. Now, I've seen this spawn 1 to 2 threadlings per finisher final blow. It may depend on the ranking of the target, so keep that in mind. But it also grants a plus 10 to our recovery stat. Next up, Thread of Isolation. Landing rapid precision hits emits a severing burst from the target. Great for staying alive against adds, as this makes a small AoE burst that when applied to targets has them deal less damage to you. Next up, Thread of Propagation. Powered melee final blows grant strand weapons unraveling rounds. Now these are needle-like strand projectiles that emit from the target you're shooting and will attack it and other nearby targets. Think like the Outbreak perfected Siva nanites. Unraveling rounds also grants anti-barrier capabilities to your strand weapons. So now we have the potential to stun 2 champion types and have an extra plus 10 to our strength stat. Rounding it out, we have Thread of Transmutation. While you have Woven Mail, weapon final blows create a tangle. So Woven Mail is a 45% damage resist in PvE, and we will have a way of getting that with our aspects, but tangles are another vital element to Strand. Tangles are spawned by defeating Strand debuff targets and can be used as a damage projectile that you throw. The fragment also gives an additional plus 10 to our strength stat. Now for our aspects, starting out with Into the Fray. Destroying a tangle or casting your super grants Woven Mail for nearby allies. While you have Woven Mail, your melee regeneration rate is increased. This is why we want so many strand debuff targets, so that we can create tangles to give ourselves Woven Mail, and continuing the cycle of creating tangles to obtain Woven Mail. Now I have read the available changes that will be released with the final shape, and the melee regeneration scaler will be reduced from a 4x multiplier to a 3x multiplier. While this is a nerf, the aspect is still top tier for this build. Next up, Banner of War. Defeat a target with a melee attack, finisher, or sword to raise a Banner of War that pulses with energy, periodically healing nearby allies and increasing melee and sword damage. Targets defeated by you and nearby allies charge the banner, increasing the speed of its pulses. Now this is very good because getting melee and finisher final blows is what we're trying to do here with this build, and getting those is now going to heal us thanks to the aspect. And again, this is another aspect that is getting looked at with the final shape, where the maximum timer will be reduced from 30 seconds to 24 seconds and will reduce damage multipliers when paired with the exotic gauntlet Syntheseps or Wormguide Caress. But seeing how we're not using either of the latter two, it's going to continue to work wonders for us here. Now for our exotics, starting out with Quicksilver Storm. Quicksilver Storm can be purchased at the Monument to Lost Light in the tower under the Lightfall tab. Our intrinsic trait, Rocket Tracers, states landing multiple shots turns your next shot into a homing micro rocket. Our trait, Grenade Chaser, landing multiple rockets loads a grenade. Hold reload to switch into grenade launcher mode. The Catalyst turns this weapon's damage type to strand, and as final blows with the grenade form create tangles. So, this is a general workhorse weapon, but is very reliable and gives us another way of creating tangles, which is what we need to get Woven Mail. Now, for our next exotic, Severance Enclosure. An exotic from Shadowkeep that can be acquired by completing legendary lost sectors. Spheromatic Trigger states powered melee final blows unleash a damaging explosion. Finishers and final blows against more powerful targets increase the radius and damage of the explosion. So this works with both charged melees and finishers, and these are powerful explosions with a lot of knockback. Basically, we're using this to create a large ad clearing explosion with both our melee and finishers. And obviously this has a ton of synergy with other parts of our build surrounding our finisher. Bungie is also looking at this exotic with the launch of the final shape, and it will now require targets to be in the line of sight in order to be damaged, and also reduce the knockback intensity of the explosions, which will now launch enemies more consistently vertical. So that last bit is more of a redirection rather than an outright nerf, and the first bit essentially just means no more wall banging enemies, which is fine. Now as always, mods are not required, but here's what I'm running. On your class ability, I highly recommend using Proximity Ward, as this will give you a very tanky overshield while you're in your finisher animation. So essentially we're using our melee to initially debuff and spawn a tangle upon a target final blow. We are then throwing the tangle to a point where we can enter its radius to give ourselves and our teammates Woven Mail. We are then killing large groups of ads with our melees and finishers, in which finishers will spawn threadlings, and we will have an overshield while in our finisher animation, and melee and finisher final blows will contribute to Banner of War, which will give us health and more melee damage. We're using Quicksilver Storm as a general workhorse weapon that will assist by spawning tangles. Basically, we will become an unkillable ad clearing machine. So, with all that out of the way, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll get straight to the showcase. Alrighty, let's see what this thing can do. I already did the first 10 waves, so this is the second 10 waves right here. So we'll see how this thing continues to do in, I guess, the next set of 10. Obviously, I know it's going to do good, though, because I made the build. Boom. Easy as that. This build is just getting finishers, and it's low-key, like, very fun. Look at that. They jump up a little bit. They explode in the air. Pause. Get the finisher, overshield. Get the finisher, live. Yep, get the finisher, live. Get the finisher, live. This thing is great. Woven Mail, finisher, finisher. All while making explosions and threadlings, and finisher. Oh, last one. Yep, finisher. I don't know how many finishers I just did there, but I just know I did like a crap ton and lived each time. Hey, yo, what up, Shax?
Let them come!
They're out. Time for my fun. Did you shoot that out of my hand, bro? Oh. No, I'm close to death. Unraveling rounds gives me anti-barrier, even on a grenade launcher. This is literally like the hold this build. Everything here is just hold this. Hold this. Like, there's just so many opportunities for me to say my catchphrase. Like, it's the hold this build. I don't even use forbearance with this build pretty much, and I love this gun. That just shows you how good the rest of the build is for me to be utilizing solely the rest of it, not even touching forbearance really. Shielded Sky Bomber. Oh. Yawn. What? What? Alright, you're not killing me. Dot. Time to kill him. Boom. There we go. Alrighty, everyone. Well, that was the build video. Banner of Severance for the Strand Titan. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. At 1,000 subscribers, we're doing the emblem giveaway for the Carrahae emblem. And I will see you next time. Stay alrighty.